My name is Kendall Roberts. So I went to Sacramento State University. I'm currently going to Fordham University, getting my master's in social work. And the educators that influenced me the most, my first one was in my sophomore year in high school, Miss Johnson, my only black woman teacher. And then again in my 20s, my late 20s, Spring Ofra. And she just really helped me educate myself around who I am spiritually and what does taking care of my mental health look like. So I currently work with black women that experience sexual violence, and previous to that I was working with young black women that experience sex trafficking. And really what I've been working on is supporting black women in putting their mental health first and what it looks like to unpack our trauma, because our mental health is not only impacted by our own personal experiences, but the experiences of our mothers and our grandmothers. And I think that when black women focus on their mental health and their overall wellness, it supports in the healing of the black community. I think sex education is extremely important, especially for black girls, because a lot of times it's very hush-hush about our bodies, especially our genitalia. And when we look at the trauma of a lot of black women and black girls being assaulted by family members, it's silenced. And so when we don't talk about sex education or sexual health, young black girls aren't able to identify when harm, to identify red flags. And so when we start young talking about, our bodies and cherishing our bodies and knowing who has access to them, then we're able to better support our young women. And I think it's extremely important for educators to educate themselves on sexual health, but also unpack our own trauma around sexual health, because if we're not unpacking our own trauma, we're not able to identify those red flags in children. Public schools, middle schools, and high schools are one of the biggest forms, or where girls are recruited the most for sex trafficking. So when we're not educating them on their bodies and red flags, then they're not able to protect themselves when they're approached with somebody who causes or wants to cause them harm. Self-preservation is so important, especially for black women, because we cannot release our trauma and move forward in our wellness when we don't put ourselves first. And when we have these communities or collectives of black women that support other black women and educating them on what mental health is, what sexual wellness is, then that supports them in their overall healing journey. So I'm currently at Black Women's Blueprint as their counseling intern, and if you are looking for personal coaching, I specifically work with black women. You can reach me at Humming Your Truth on Instagram. Happy Black History Month.